Yeah, good evening and thanks for having me. I mean, it's a real challenge speaking right after you, so I have the great joker here. One thing I really would like to add to what you said talking about humanity. I spent the last 15 months, and this was actually the first time I came to India, was last year in February, and what we experienced there, my friend Egon, whom I'm building the school with, is also here, has to do a lot with humanity. Because when you live in India, and when you live especially in the rural areas of India, but it also goes along with the big cities like Delhi, you simply can't escape. You face each and every problem our planet has somehow to offer, but on the same hand, you have all the opportunities there as well. So if you compare this, for example, with a big city in the US, there you will find the places, where you have poverty. But if you don't go to these places, you won't see the poverty. You won't see the challenges on the other side. But in India, all this is mixed up. You simply can't escape the one or the other, and this, at least, is one experience we have made the last year or so. It really comes down to humanity to see, how real life, so to speak, is. And I, for my part, I've been very thankful for this to see this much clearer and much better than I ever did see it in the West. So, yeah, this might bridge to what I have to say. This is actually, it's the topic you were talking about, community building. What can Las Vegas learn from rural India and vice versa? I live in Khajuraho. It's UNESCO World Heritage. There are all the old Kama Sutra temples you find there. It's like 600 kilometers south of Delhi, and it's central India, and it's real rural India. So you cannot necessarily compare this with the Western world, but I think the ideas of communities are pretty much the same. What we are doing there, I would like to talk about two projects. One is we are building a school there, which is called We School. The We there stands for community. The idea of We School basically is, since we are in a rural area, that the We stands for community. We do believe that in rural areas, no matter if they're in India, Africa, or wherever, the education system we have set up for the Western world, or the education system which we'll see in Mumbai or Delhi, doesn't necessarily fit the needs the people in rural areas have. So in India, we have 1 billion people living in these areas. And living in these areas means where I stay, we have only like 6-7 hours electricity a day. Sometimes there is no water. If you go outside, there are snakes. There is really wildlife. It's a completely different setup, and living in this environment and getting kids to work really is requiring different kind of models, approaches than you find in the city. So our goal with We School is that we really aim to uplift society, the community there as a whole, and provide the kids with kind of thinking that they first of all understand the problems which are around them, no matter what they are about, that they find solutions how to solve these problems by themselves, and that they will be capable, and here comes the entrepreneurial thinking, to make a living out of it. So for this, we just got this land here, It's the size of a football field. It's government land. There are 3 buildings on it. And what we are just trying, or what we just started to do right now, we clean all this up and install there what we call labs, areas where people can come in, where they can build stuff. We would probably call it a hacker space there. We will set up a library. We'll do outside. We set up a little model where the kids and also the parents can do some agricultural stuff, farming, stuff like this. So they really can come in. It's open for everybody and experiment whatever they want to do. This is one project we are working on. The other one, this is a village. It's about 40 kilometers away, one of the poorest from Khatarao, where we live. One of the poorest areas in India. It's Uttar Pradesh. It's a village where about like 200-300 villagers live. And what we do with them, next week when I come back to India, we'll do a 2-day workshop. They came to us asking, you know, we have land, why don't you build the school here at our place? So we went there, we talked to them, we saw various places they have, and we said, you know, it's not the matter of fact that you do need another school. There are already 2 or 3 schools there. What you need is really this kind of, what is the English word? Self-responsibility, that, you know, that you feel that you by yourself can change the situation in the village. So we went there a couple of times, had conversations with the villagers. When I come back, we will hold a 2-day workshop with them. Like, I think 800 to 900 of these villagers and from the surrounding villages will attend the workshop. And we'll start on the first day that they, you know, that they discuss in groups what kind of problems they have. Then we will prioritize the problems with them. On the first day in the afternoon, we will bring in experts from various fields, education, health, agriculture. They tell about their experience, what they have done in other villages. On the second day in the morning, we'll discuss with them again in groups solutions for their problems, and then translate these solutions into an action plan. Meaning really writing down, you know, these are the 10 projects we're going to do in the next 2 or 3 years, and these people are responsible for it, and we really translate this into a plan, what can be done. This is a way to achieve that the villagers and the farmers there, that they really, you know, take responsibility for their own lives, that they carry out their own solutions, and that they are really committed to them. So these are right now the 2 major things we are working on. And by doing so, the last 15 months, of course, we got to learn a lot. And I just want to share with you a couple of our major learnings, and then, you know, leave it open for discussion or whatsoever, what can be translated maybe into your area here in Las Vegas. So one of the first learnings was literally, don't ask for permission, simply do it. I mean, if you ask government or if you ask people, would you like to do so? No, it won't lead anywhere. Just go, do your stuff, and see if the thing you're doing has enough energy, then people will join you and simply go along with you. So no matter what, people like it when they see, you know, that something has started and that it goes on, then they will join you. So really, first thing is, don't ask for permission, just do it. The pictures are, by the way, they will give you a little impression where we live and where we work. It's all from the area there. Whenever you start something, involve all possible stakeholders, no matter on which level they are. If it's entrepreneurial, it's government, if it's education, involve them all. Otherwise, the idea will never carry out. And otherwise, if you don't involve all, you really will lose the community character. You will focus on a specific segment or whatsoever, you won't get them all. So really try to include all of them, and as early as possible. As I said with the example of the villagers, the farmers, the workshop we are doing next week, we are not going there and tell them what to do, but we set up an environment and let them tell us what their problems are, and come up with solutions. And this is the moment when actually co-creation starts, and when they take ownership of their own ideas. Very important thing. So basically what we are doing, we set the frame, we set the environment for something, and let everything else evolve there. So we don't tell them what to do, but we guide them, we give them the environment, the frame, and let all the others do what they want to do, and then then they really come up with results, and then they are really committed to what they are doing. Don't push. I mean, if an idea is really good, the idea will fly. You can't make an idea fly if it doesn't have the support, if you don't have the reputation or whatsoever. So pushing, especially in India, doesn't make any sense. You won't go anywhere. So this is a very, very important rule. As soon as you let the things flow and let them evolve, they will work. The moment you start pushing, the moment you start that you want to control, won't work. Decentralized responsibility. That's exactly what we are doing in the workshop. We let them come up with, discussing their problems. We let them come up with their solutions. And this is the moment when they take responsibility to do the job. Totally different story as if we would tell them, how to build the school, how to solve, how to do better harvest, whatsoever. Doesn't make any sense. It has to be within their workflow, within their daily life. It has, really fit in smoothly, and then the people are willing to take responsibility for what they are doing. In India, that's a huge problem. We always have to run special programs for the girls and the women. These are 2 computer stations we implemented almost a year ago. As you can see, only boys. Never ever any girls. If we want to get girls there to these computer stations, on each of the computers are about 500-600 learning programs. We really need to be there in person. We have to push away the boys, and really go with the girls around it and tell them what to do. This is probably typical India. And another thing, what we learned, we really need to close the circle. It means if you identify a problem, if you create a solution, it's only one half of the story. If you don't find the market, and preferable within the village or within the area you're working itself for the solution, you're pretty much lost. So you really should create something which really also provides the market, meaning that it's sellable. Having said all this, you really have to keep in mind that India is different. And I think one of the major differences to the US is that India is very, very much a community-based country. What the US is not so much. I mean, like people, they don't live very long at one specific place. They move every 2 years. So it's very, very hard to set up communities. Whether in India, I mean, these people, they never ever get out of their villages. The fastest way they get out is probably to the fields, and then they come back. So there is this very, very strong sense of community in India, and this really needs to be taken in account when we discuss the lessons which can be carried over here to Las Vegas or to any other place in the West. Thank you. Questions? Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Any questions?
Yes.
What was the impetus for getting involved in India in the first place? What was your impetus for getting involved in this program?
Why did I start this? It was actually more or less coincidence. I had no plan when I came to India. I had a ticket going into Delhi. I went there for a conference. The return ticket was out of Bombay, so I somehow had to, you know, handle these 2,000 kilometers in between. And I looked at the map, and I first went to see the Taj Mahal. Then I got stuck in Khajuraho, and people asked me there after a couple of days if I would like to build a school there. So I thought about the idea. I wrote an email to Egon, because just before I left to India, he wrote me an email saying, you know, whenever you need some help on your travels, I'll be there. So I wrote him, come to Khajuraho, we're going to build a school. That's what we did a few weeks later. So we went both there, stayed there for a couple of weeks, and then decided to do it. So it was no plan, it was pure coincidence.
I'm curious, as an outsider that's trying to be a change agent and as a catalyst, that's trying to be sensitive to the local community and their local values, how that operates. You know, how did you gain the trust as an outsider to get them to feel more comfortable about something that's quintessential theirs, not yours?
If I got your question right, I mean, we faced a lot of clash of cultures, let's put it this way. It's like, you know, when you're, for me, it turned out, it's like when you're sitting in front of your computer, you really have to push permanently the reset button, telling that, you know, the way they are strange to you, you are strange to them. And just be open and walk your talk, so to speak. Just be honest, transparent, and open, and then things work out. I think in this way, people aren't different. And this is what I've experienced. I mean, as I said, we had moments, especially with the family who originally asked me to build a school. We are no longer with them because we had clashes with them, but we got along and it worked out. So I think it's really a question of being open, transparent, and just going on your way. You know, show them that you are really committed to what you do, and then culture is no longer the issue, at least for doing things together.
Thank you so much. That's very good.
Thank you.